Hi, my name is Ryan Wieland. I'm a pastor at New Crossing Church in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, and this is a video commentary on the book of Ruth, and it's meant to accompany our sermon series in the book of Ruth. Today's video is on Ruth 2, 1 through 16. We have dilly-dallied enough now. Grab your Bibles and let's jump right in. All right, in Ruth 2, remember that chapter 1 ended with emptiness and uncertainty, and chapter 2 begins with hope because the barley harvest is here. Even though Ruth and Naomi don't fully recognize it, God has already been working behind the scenes. And we see that Naomi had this relative. Relative here comes from the word yada. It's moda, and yada is to know, and so it's to know somebody. And here specifically, we know that it's to know Elimelech. So this is a person that she's actually related to, not just an acquaintance, and so it is in fact her relative, someone that is in her family. Elimelech is Naomi's husband who's passed in the country of Moab along with her two sons. So this is important that it's from the clan of Elimelech. And who is this person? Well, he's a worthy man, and his name is Boaz. So worthy man is a pretty cool word, chayil. And when I was learning Hebrew, I remember this as it's a man of high yield, or a person of high yield, a worthy person. And interestingly, later on in Ruth 3:11, Ruth is called a person of chayil as well. And so both people are people of strength and integrity, and both are people of chayil, and they're kind of made for each other. Hint, hint, wink, wink, if you know what I'm saying. And so Ruth, the Moabite, stressing again that she's not from here, said to Naomi, "Let me go to the field and glean among the ears of grain. After him whose sight I shall find favor." So two important ideas here. One is what a gleaner is in the Old Testament, specifically in Leviticus 19 and Leviticus 23 and Deuteronomy 24. There's laws that protect the poor, the widow, and the foreigner. Ruth is all three. She is a poor, foreigner, and a widow. And so there's these laws that protect people and allow people who need to glean, follow along behind the people that are working the fields and gather what's left along the edges of the field. And so Ruth also doesn't just do this. She does take initiative, but she also does so respectfully, honoring Naomi's authority over her. So pretty cool that she's not acting independently. She's displaying humility, courage to go out and do this. And then the second idea here is the other what I highlighted is favor. And this is an important concept in the book of Ruth, especially in regard to how Ruth and Boaz interact. The word is chen, and it's favor. And it means grace, kindness, acceptance. She's not demanding rights. She understands her place. She's seeking mercy. It's a really big theme in the book of Ruth, and we're going to see especially when Ruth and Boaz interact. So as we continue on to verse 3, she sets out, she gleans in the field after the reapers. So there's two people in the field. There's the gleaners and the reapers. The gleaners, or just the one gleaner, Ruth, she is the poor widow foreigner, and the reapers are the employees. So they're the ones that are just meant to be in the field and sort of work in the fields. So there's like a really interesting, deliberate technique being used here. She happens to come upon the field. And so the literal translation is her chanced upon it. The author is signaling from a human perspective, this might seem like chance, but it's also sort of being sarcastic. Like, yeah, right, get it? Sure, it was chance, just like she happened to arrive in Bethlehem by chance safely. No, it's not a chance that the field belonging to Boaz, who was of the clan of Elimelech, she happened to by chance. And so that's not by chance. She's not guided by a vision or an angel, but she simply goes to work. She's doing her daily normal routine, and God directs the outcome. Then we see Ruth 2:4, not 24, but 2:4, something changes. And behold, kind of signaling a big change, Boaz steps onto the scene. And this exchange actually tells us a lot about who Boaz is. He said to the reapers, his laborers, his employees, "The Lord be with you." And they answered, "The Lord bless you." And what a cool relationship between an employer and a boss. And this actually identifies Boaz as the first, wow, this is a cool guy. It allows us to see his character a little bit and allows us to see that he's probably a good man. Plus, the word behold signals this dramatic timing. The idea, behold, look, Boaz, he's coming at just the right time, just when God needs him to show up. And so then we see in verse 5, Boaz asks an employee about Ruth. And so you see all this right here, verse 5, all the way through verse 7. A lot going on here. But summarized just to say, Boaz asks about Ruth, the overseer, his sort of one in charge of the field workers, explains who she is, where she comes from, and how hard she's been working. So the overseer really talks well and highly of Ruth. And Boaz speaks to the overseer directly. He doesn't directly approach Ruth. And in ancient Near East culture, this was appropriate because typically it was considered improper for a man to approach an unknown woman publicly. And so it seems like now somehow the overseer knows Ruth personally. So at this moment, somehow they're already getting to know each other. The young worker, when asked, says to Ruth, he describes her as respectful, hardworking, and persistent. This reinforces Ruth's reputation that her character is matching her behavior. Then Boaz does approach Ruth and he says to her, "My daughter." Pretty cool that he says, "My daughter." Now listen, my daughter, because this is really fatherly. This is not, he's not like flirting with her or anything like that. The word is as a father is to a daughter, beti or bait. And the E at the end there is just showing that it's my daughter. So listen, my daughter. This reflects both kindness and the age difference. Boaz, he's not flirting. He's offered provision, protection, just as a father would. Really, really cool time here. Don't forget, it's the time of the judges where everyone's just doing what's right in their own eyes. It's chaotic, it's scary, it's dangerous. And this foreigner, the Moabite woman, which the text keeps stressing, Ruth, she's from a people group that have a history of tension and even racism with the Israelites. And so Ruth, even in this city, could have been in danger walking into a field. But instead, Boaz shows that she can stay with the female workers. She's protected from harassment. And what's more than we even learned, don't go and glean in another field. So don't go and leave this one. Stay close to the young woman. Let your eyes be on the field that they are reaping. Go after them. And so really cool that he's letting them go after closely. "Have I not charged the young men not to touch you?" So again, protection. "And when you are thirsty, go to the vessels and drink what the young men have drawn." So he's offering her way above and beyond anything that she deserves as a foreigner, anything that she deserves even as a gleaner. The Old Testament law is clear, but Boaz goes way beyond what the Old Testament law requires in showing kindness to this woman. And then we see again that she fell on her face and she recognizes that she is a foreigner. She fell on her face, which shows even more humility, and she is a foreigner. And this word foreigner really just seals the deal to make it really clear, nakri. And it means she's an outsider, a stranger. She's one without covenant status. She fully understands that she has no claim on Boaz's kindness and approaches him with humility. And this honestly highlights what unexpected grace feels like when we approach Jesus, when he offers us salvation for free. We come to him and we bow on our knees and we ask, "Why have I found favor in your eyes that you should take notice of me, Father, since I am a foreigner?" I am a foreigner, Lord. How cool is that? These are words we can say to Jesus when we're coming before him as sinners. And now in verse 11 and 12, Boaz explains that he heard about everything that Ruth has done. And now he is glad that Ruth is coming underneath the wings of the Lord. And he quotes a psalm here. This is in verse 12. "The Lord repay you for what you've done. You've come under the wings of God to take refuge. And he's quoting here Psalm 36, 57, and 91. This is a really common theme. And among others, Boaz is saying to Ruth, there's a place for you here. You're underneath God's covenant protection, even as a foreigner. Pretty cool for Boaz to make such a strong case for her. Then in Ruth 13, she again says, wow, I have found favor. So that word favor comes up again. Really, really important that she's found favor in the eyes of Boaz, because now she's recognizing that she's comforted and she is being spoken kindly of. And it's kind of cool, the idea here in the Hebrew, when you're being spoken kind of, it's literally to the heart. You're spoken to the heart, or alev, or lave. And it's, I don't know, it's a reassurance, sometimes romantic, a little bit, but here the focus is emotional safety and dignity. And then she does say that she is a servant, and this is what we think of as a servant. It's a female servant, or even could mean slave. Ruth is consistently placing herself super, super low, so there's the word servant there. And finally, 14, 15, and 16, we see that these gleaners, normally they're going to eat separately. And Boaz says, no, at mealtime, Boaz says to her, no, come and eat some bread from the table that we're at, dip your morsel. She sat beside the workers. She's no longer an outsider. She's an insider. Boaz's generosity to her becomes intentional and strategic. He says not just to do that, but also he instructs his young men, saying, let her glean even among the sheaves and do not reproach her. So he's going above and beyond any expectation, and he is showing chesed. It's a huge, huge idea. Chesed, love, covenant love toward both Ruth and Naomi. He is dealing with them kindly. And so some big themes that we have in this section is that God's providence works through ordinary decisions to work, sort of like how Ruth is just showing up, doing work, and God shows up and blesses her. God's law is designed to protect the vulnerable. Pretty awesome. And then I love the theme that we come before Jesus, just like Ruth came before Boaz, with the idea that we are humble. We don't really deserve his grace, but that's what makes grace so awesome, is that we don't deserve it, and he still lavishes us with his grace. Pretty cool. All right, I hope that blessed you and you're getting excited about studying Ruth on your own. And if you want to check out the other commentary videos that I have, you can check out this one. It's the first one in the series. And if you want to learn a little bit more about how to study the Bible, that video right there, Blue Letter Bible Tutorial, will help you dive in for free, learn about Greek and Hebrew on the way. All right, till next time, God bless, and I pray that God's chesed is with you. Amen. Bye-bye.